This is a short episode that has some clips that you may have seen in other videos and some which are completely new. We wanted to bring them together into one place because one artist has particularly crystallised a really important idea, and that person's Brian Eno. Brian, as well as making his own solo work, has collaborated with some of the biggest artists in music history. He's got some interesting thoughts on being alert when you're writing music.
The thing that is thrilling about creative art, and as a receiver as well as a maker, is when something new happens. When something happens to you and you think, wow, that never happened before. That comes out of a state of alertness, I think, of seeing that moment when something new is starting to emerge and jumping on it and saying, I'll follow that. So I noticed that if you're working under pressure, you often don't do that because it's risky. Mm-hmm. You know, you can follow that moment and it doesn't go anywhere, or it doesn't go anywhere for 15 years. You know, some ideas take a long time to bear fruit. So the tendency, if you're under pressure, for instance, working in a studio that you're paying money for or working to a deadline, the tendency is to take the safe route that you know will kind of pay off in a predictable way. Sure, I understand that, but it's not what I want to be doing with my life most of the time. I want to be thrilled. What is interesting is that if you place people in an unfamiliar situation, a territory that they've never been in before, what happens first of all, and this is the thing that I'm interested in, is that they become very alert. Suddenly they're lost, so they've got to keep looking. Where am I? How do I navigate this? And alertness is the single quality that I want. So actually noticing where we are now rather than where we hoped we would be or thought we ought to be or whatever, but where we actually are now. I remember reading an interview with a very successful Chicago detective who had a much higher success rate than any of his colleagues. And the person interviewing him said, "What is your advice to other detectives?" And he said, "If you do a double take, do a triple take." So he was saying, if something catches your attention, don't ignore it. Just say, now, why is that catching my attention? What is it that has interested me about that? So I sort of work on that basis quite a lot. I'm always sort of paying attention to what strange little thing has happened that has never happened before. The way I think about it now more and more is that I think of myself as a gardener. So what I'm doing is making seeds, putting them together and seeing what grows out of it, and actually not knowing in advance what that will be. I have some vague idea, but I don't know in detail what is going to happen. So this, I don't know how useful this notion is to people who don't make the same kind of art that I do.
Well, I think it actually is interesting, this idea of a gardener, this metaphor, whatever style of music you're writing, whether you're writing film music or pop tunes or whatever, because you're not inventing everything. You're looking after your ideas. Imagine that your garden is all the ideas that you have, some of which you're thinking about a lot, some of which are sort of taking care of themselves and you're not really even aware of them. There's other people's ideas are all part of that garden as well, which can, and the history of musical ideas, which are all there as options for you. And what you do at a certain point, you go, that thing over there, that's the thing that I'm really interested in today, and I'm going to pick it up, put it in a pot. No, not that pot. I'm going to put that pot, put it in. I'm going to just pluck that off and do a bit of that, and there you go. And give it to someone, put it out there into the world. That's your musical piece. You haven't said, oh, I'm going to invent a plant which is exactly 6.5 inches high, has 13 petals, and is in a silver pot. That idea has emerged through a process of finding things and making choices.
People who haven't got quite a lot of experience of making things think that you can only make something if you already know what it's going to be. And this is nearly always not the case. very few people really have a clear conception of what they want to make. And you don't need to have any conception, actually. What you need to do is to be alert to what is happening when you start working. So many of the artists that I like, if you ask them about how this piece came into existence, it's a complete mess. There was no coherent framework. Of course, after it's happened, you can think, oh yes, I must have been thinking this, I'd seen that thing, I must have been interested. You can kind of reconstruct how it may have come into existence, but that isn't the way it feels at the time. At the time, what's happening is that you're improvising, you're making it up as you go along, and you're thinking, oh, that's good. Oh, so how do we fit that in? Oh, I might have to get rid of that bit then to make that even better, you know. But really, it's a muddle. So I think people are very frightened of muddles, and I don't think they should be.